Hello and welcome back to another video, welcome back to the YouTube channel, and today we are doing something very different. Now it's not just because it's a Thursday that I'm doing this, but today is the first episode of Throwback Sagas. Now this is where we take a look at maybe a failed transfer move, a player at a club, a manager at a club, a season, it could be anything, but it's just a single saga at West Ham and we're going to talk about it. We're going to do a little throwback with all of them. It could be a couple years ago, it could be 10 years ago, it could be 20, it could be 5 years ago, it could be literally any time. Make sure to like the video and subscribe if you're new. We're trying to hit 500 subscribers before the end of the year, so you can make that happen, that'll be great. Now, I've had a couple of suggestions before, but if you've kept up on the community page or my social medias on Twitter, especially, you would know that I've been hinting at doing this video already. And those are the places to find the updates on the channel, by the way. If you want to go on the community page or Twitter, that's when you find the updates on the channel. Marko Arnautovic. Marko Arnautovic is a man who's split opinion anyway. But he ended up signing 5 days after my birthday in 2017, on the 22nd of July for West Ham. After leaving Stoke City on a sour note, with rumoured things that he actually fell out with the manager at the time, which I believe was Mark Hughes. Apparently his future was cast in doubt to the start prior of the 2017-18 season because he submitted a transfer request. Now, obviously Arnautovic signed for us. It was a 5-year contract and it was a club record fee of 20 million. And it could have rose to 25 million on add-ons. I'm yet to really know whether that actually those add-ons were met. I don't think they were. He made his debut 30th of August, played a full 90 minutes of a 4-0 loss to Manchester United. This was the same transfer window when we signed, I think, Zabaleta. We signed Joe Hart on loan as well. This was after we had that terrible transfer window in the 16-17 season where we signed the Fagulis and the Gokantores, etc. 6 days later, after that terrible 4-0 loss to Manchester United, he was then sent off after 33 minutes for elbow and Jack Stevens in a 3-2 away loss. This was under the Bilic era, and in the 17-18 season, there was a big struggle at the time. Obviously, I wanted Bilic out at the time, and eventually he did go. Pretty sure it was after a 4-1 Liverpool loss. Excuse me. But new manager that came in was David Moyes, funny enough. This was David Moyes' first spell at West Ham United, obviously coming into the November time of the 17-18 season. Now, David Moyes said that Arnautovic had to work harder and be more of a team player or he would be dropped. Now, I've watched a couple interviews before and what Moyes thought of Arnautovic and stuff in a couple press conferences a few years ago. And he said he actually liked his character because they tested each other. And they would get the best out of each other by testing each other. And Moyes obviously doesn't really usually like someone with an attitude problem, but he seemed to get the best out of Arnautovic. And also, this wasn't his own players, you know. He came into a West Ham side where it was only initially from November till May. And God knows whether he would have kept Arnautovic. He probably would have because of how well he actually ended up wanting to do in this, ended up doing in the 17-18 season, Arnautovic. This was actually the last game I went to, what I'm about to say, before the 21-22 season, because I stopped going after the 16-17 season in terms of season tickets. But Marko Arnautovic scored his first goal for the club on the 9th of December against reigning champions Chelsea at the London Stadium. This is when we scored very early. We won 1-0 against Antonio Conte's Chelsea side. That was the last game I went to as a West Ham fan. I didn't get... I got actually quite a good view of the goal. I remember it at the time, and obviously West Ham Chelsea, I like to get up for that game, and yeah, great win. And Arnautovic, you know, he pretty much buried Chelsea right at the start. And it was also David Moyes' first victory as a West Ham manager. Now, when you think of Arnautovic at West Ham, in terms of certain games where he played, you think of that iconic return to the Bet365 Stadium against Stoke, where he beat Stoke City 3-0. He obviously, I'm pretty sure he shushed the fans and stuff. He mocked the fans and stuff when they booed him. It only motivated him more. He was having a bit of a feud with a couple of Stoke players, and Mark Hughes at the time even feuded with him right in that game as well. But this was all in the 17-18 season, and the biggest highlight from that was the fact that he was converted from a winger to a striker. Now, Arnautovic wasn't completely a stranger to playing the role of a striker, but he was fully converted into one since that season. And that was thanks to David Moyes. He obviously did the same with Mikel Antonio as well. Arnautovic scored 11 Premier League goals in that 17-18 season, and this was obviously his debut season. He actually scored on the final day to earn the record of the first person to score, first West Ham player to score 11 goals in their first season since Bobby Zamora did in the 2006-07 season, and was named Hammer of the Year. Now, this is where everything turns upside down. Now, West Ham changed manager from David Moyes to Manuel Pellegrini, with that being agreed way earlier than it was actually announced. Obviously, both managers play very different styles of football, very different formations, etc. But the 18-19 season was very overshadowed by the fact that Arnautovic pretty much started a transfer saga that would leave a bitter taste in all of us. Obviously, it was linked already for Marko Arnautovic to move to Shanghai, SIPG. That was the rumour at the time. However, from West Ham sources at the time, including ex-West Ham employee, etc., there was no bid on the table. However, the reason why there was so much talk of a bid is because Marko Arnautovic's brother, who is his agent, Daniel Arnautovic, said there was a 35 million transfer offer from a Chinese club. And he was briefing it all to the media, the Talk Sports and the Sky Sports, etc. But that was never, ever true. Now, another twist was around the time where West Ham got beat by AFC Wimbledon in the FA Cup. Marko Arnautovic actually got a contract extension despite being left out in the squad. Now, it's still, till this day, I have no idea whether he was exiled from the squad or whether he refused to play. But Marko Arnautovic did hint in the game that by waving that he was going to leave. Now, West Ham put a statement out talking about that Marko Arnautovic signed a contract extension, and this was on the 26th of January in 2019. The statement reads as follows. I'm going to read a bit of it out. West Ham is pleased to confirm that Marko Arnautovic has signed a contract extension. The Austrian has reiterated that his 100% commitment to the Hammers after opting to put an end to speculation linking him with a move to China by extending his deal with the club. Now, it's very key that you guys listen to all the words to this, because there's a lot of PR going on, and also everyone remembers that video of Marko Arnautovic saying, "I love to play for you guys, I love to play at the London Stadium," etc. Obviously, we found out that wasn't going to be true anyway. The Hammers forward said he cannot wait to score more goals in the Claret Blue and help lift the club further up the Premier League table over the rest of the 18-19 season. And yeah, obviously, you see the nonsense Marko Arnautovic quotes. Our target, of course, is to climb as high as possible in the league table. We need to start again by taking some points. We know it won't be easy against Wolverhampton away and Liverpool at home. It's never easy in this league, but I'm sure we have enough quality to win games and to climb as high as possible in the table, and then we'll see. I'm pretty sure we lost the Wolves away, but I don't remember by how much. And I'm pretty sure the Liverpool at home game was a draw. That was when Mikel Antonio did that dance. I'm not going to recreate it because I can't dance. But at the time, Marko Arnautovic signed a new deal. And it was only till pretty much the end of the season, put an end to speculation at the time. But it was A bit like how Dimitri Payet signed a contract every 6 months and then he left anyway. But that was West Ham, how they were run back in the day. However, pretty much what happened was he received a 20% increase, raising his weekly wage to 120 grand. And you were just like, oh, there's money somewhere else. There's bigger. I've turned out bigger offers. Now that's well and good and all, but you literally left 6 months later, as we'll get on to. And there was also a 40 million release clause that was added to the contract, so the club pretty much knew that he was going to leave, but they needed to keep him for the rest of the season after the fact that he would have been sold in January. Funny enough, Arnautovic actually finished as West Ham leading scorer with 11 goals. But in July 2019, West Ham rejected an offer of 19.7 million from a Chinese club as Arnautovic said he wanted to leave. But on the 7th of July 2019, Arnautovic signed for Shanghai, later rebranded as Shanghai Ports. You might have seen that club on like video games and stuff, for a fee of 22.4 million. Now, if you have a look, West Ham technically did make profit, but it was only by 2 million at the time, and also giving him a contract extension is not really profit, is it? He scored in his debut 2 weeks later, and all of that good stuff. And obviously, West Ham put a statement on the 8th of July 2019, saying that West Ham can confirm that Marko Arnautovic has joined the Chinese Super League champions Shanghai for an undisclosed fee. Austrian departs after 2 seasons at the London Stadium, during which he scored 22 goals in 65 appearances in Claret and Blue. Now, after all the propaganda that West Ham United did, they had to fall flat on their face after selling him pretty much 6 months later. I do remember, and this is just from memory, I remember on the Instagram page at the time, I was in year 11, so I'm kind of just, well, not when he got sold, but I was on my summer holidays after GCSE, so it was on the long summer holidays. And I'm just scrolling through Instagram. I see a picture of Mark Noble, and I just see a comment from Colton Cole. And it's not, and I'm pretty sure he commented something. It's nice that you're showing players that, want to commit to the club, and there's pretty much a bit of shade towards Marko Arnautovic. Now, to this day, there's a bit of split now that he held the Hammers signed in the Austria game the other day, but I don't think that had anything to do with West Ham, but you take what you can out of that. I don't know why he did that. If you want to know my opinion on Marko Arnautovic, I don't like him. However, I do have to admit, I was an advocate of bringing him back in the 2021 season, as we were rumoured to bring in another striker, and he was actually one of the options. But that was because I was like, get David Moyes anything he wants, back then, like the 21-22 season and stuff, after Sebastian Haller left 6 months earlier. But ultimately, he is a snake, he is a prick, and he's a money-grabbing prick. But, yeah, he has an attitude problem. Yeah, it's pretty much a snake. I don't really care now, but I wouldn't take it back now. I was moving delusional when I was talking about bringing back Marko Arnautovic. Listen, every teammate, and you've heard it from Mikel Antonio, you've heard it from Mark Noble, that they took to Arnautovic because of how much of a character he was in the dressing room. But I think Mark Noble said, I wish he had talked to me more or something like that about the move. That might have been about Payet. But what do you guys think of Marko Arnautovic? Because that's what pretty much what happened. Obviously, his brother was, unfortunately, a big part to play, as he was an agent. Obviously, Stoke fans have gone through this already. They pretty much went through that after he submitted a transfer request. But hopefully you guys have enjoyed Throwback Saga Marko Arnautovic edition. Let me know what saga you want next. Now, I've got a few in mind, but I want to know what you guys think next. And it could be any era of West Ham, mainly from, I'd say, 80s till now. Any era from in between those. Give me a saga that you want me to talk about. Because I'm trying to work on a West Ham Premier League years thing that I've been trying to do. I don't know when I can upload that, and I don't know how much time I'm going to have to do more research in that. I've researched 2 of the years. I'll try and get to that another day. Make sure to like the video, subscribe if you're new. We're on the road to 500 subscribers, so if you did enjoy this video, make sure to subscribe. And we are trying to hit 500 before the end of the year. Social media is up in the description if you want to follow me, and an email for the inquiries. I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.